A 335 for under 8 grand? An X5 for under 5,800? A 7 Series for 6,500 bucks? Why are used BMWs so cheap? I mean, all cars depreciate, but 60 or 70% in the first 5 years? BMWs in particular get hit hard. But you have to ask, why? Today, we're talking about the top 5 reasons these highly engineered, tech-forward, ultimate driving machines become surprisingly seemingly affordable as they age, and explain why, even with the depreciation and cost of repairs and everything else we're about to cover, you should consider buying one. BMWs have always had a reputation for being the ultimate driving machine, but if you've ever browsed the used car market, you might have noticed something curious. Used BMWs are often much cheaper than you'd expect. So what's the deal? Let's break it down, starting with our first reason, raw, naked, upfront cost. Luxury cars in general depreciate faster than their non-luxury counterparts, and BMWs are no exception. The moment you drive a new BMW off the lot, it starts losing value, and fast. Within the first few years, a BMW can lose around 50% of its original value. Why? Well, there are a few factors at play here. Each and every one of the next points we're about to make contribute to why a used BMW costs so much less on the used market than a shiny new one individually, but they all collectively result in depreciation. First, there's the high upfront cost of engineering and manufacturing, which leads to a high initial price. See, BMWs are packed with premium features and advanced technologies, which drives up the cost of the cars pretty quickly. But as soon as a newer model with even better tech comes out, the older ones quickly become less desirable. Remember in the mid-2000s when BMW was one of the first to market with in-car infotainment? The mess that was early iDrive? Sure, it was impressive then, but it aged about as well as a tall glass of warm milk. And what's more is because that was a system that was so infused and entwined with virtually all systems of the car, for a long time, upgrading or modifying it was really difficult and really expensive. It's gotten a little more straightforward now though. The point here is that BMW is usually on the bleeding edge of automotive technology and features. Features that eventually trickle down into much less expensive cars. Add that to the fact that BMWs are popular, and many of them flood the used car market, especially once they're out of warranty, which pushes prices down even further. I mean, a used BMW out of warranty parked next to a new, Jetta that comes with a full warranty and the same features for the same price, for the average person, it's kind of a no-brainer. But you're not the average person. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you want the BMW, and you probably want it with a manual. So, click the link in the description below and pick up one of our best-selling Save the Manuals tees. Show the world where your loyalties lie. Speaking of warranties, that brings us to number 4. Maintenance and repair costs. This is the big one, folks. Here's where owning a used BMW can really hit you in the wallet. BMWs are known for their driving performance and luxury, but maintaining that performance requires specialized parts and even more specialized service. And let me tell you, those parts and that service don't come cheap. Routine maintenance like oil changes, brake pads, and even something as simple as replacing a headlight can be significantly more expensive compared to non-luxury brands. I mean, even something simple like replacing the battery in a modern BMW requires you then use specialized software to code it to the vehicle. To be clear though, pretty much all luxury automakers do this now. It allows the car to control charging and discharging techniques as the battery ages and try to make it last as long as possible. But still, a battery is a battery, but the cost of the tool, or paying for the service to have it installed properly, is an additional cost. And when something inevitably goes wrong, I mean, they are machines after all, and machines break, well, the high price of bleeding-edge German engineering rears its ugly head. While the average car uses things like stamped steel control arms, for instance, on something like a BMW, they're all aluminum. Most parts that aren't plastic on a BMW are made out of aluminum, and aluminum's expensive. And if something major goes wrong, well, you better have a hefty savings account. Remember, part of the reason these cars are expensive when new is because they're built with expensive parts, and that definitely has its pros. I mean, We love BMWs. Brad and I have collectively owned nearly 20 of them. But the high cost of ownership is a major reason why these cars lose value quickly and why used BMWs can be found at bargain prices. Which brings us to number 3, reliability concerns. Like we talked about, BMWs are packed with cutting-edge technology and high-performance engines, which is great for driving pleasure, but not always so great for long-term reliability. Many used BMWs, especially those out of warranty, come with a reputation for being less reliable than their competitors, or at least they used to. Over the last 5 years or so, BMW has completely turned their reliability reputation around, making it one of the most reliable brands you can buy, if you can believe that. I mean, they're ranked above Honda right now. But unless you're looking at buying one from around 2019 or newer, there are some reliability concerns you might want to be aware of. Common issues include electrical problems, cooling system failures, and various other engine problems. Oil leaks from, well, various places to water pump failures, which it's made of plastic, it's electric, and depending on the engine, it lives near the exhaust, so no huge shock there. Fuel injectors can fail. The trick valvetronic system can go wrong. Some of the 4 cylinders have timing chain problems. These issues can be expensive to fix and can happen unexpectedly. It's important here to do your research on specific models and specific engines to know what commonly goes wrong and what's involved with making it right again. And while honestly, for most cars, most of the time, the repairs won't be as serious or as frequent as the internet might want you to believe, chances are your ownership experience on a 10-year-old BMW won't be quite as trouble-free as they would be on maybe a 10-year-old Camry. This reputation for being less reliable over time makes potential buyers cautious, driving down the demand and therefore driving down the resale value. Reason number 2, complex technology. Like I said, BMWs are known for being at the forefront of automotive technology, which is part of what makes them so appealing. But as these cars age, that advanced technology can become kind of a liability. Things like infotainment systems, advanced driver assistance features, and even simple electronic components can start to fail. And because BMW uses proprietary systems, repairs are complex and expensive. As cars in general get more and more complicated from the software and touchscreen side of things, it paints a picture that looks a bit bleak from the repair side. A lot of interior parts on BMWs have moved towards big, modular, touch-enabled parts, and if those go wrong, well, you'll be at the mercy of the guy working the parts counter at your local dealer to give you a break. And it's not just the tech in the interiors. Think about some modern BMW engines. Dual-scroll twin turbocharging with direct injection and reverse flow cylinder heads. Complicated valve timing and lift systems so advanced they can be run and revved without using a throttle body. There's a lot going on there. When potential buyers consider the cost and hassle of potentially fixing these high-tech features, it often makes them think twice about buying used, which in turn further lowers the market value. And that brings us to the last reason, which is high insurance costs. Insuring a luxury car like a BMW is generally more expensive than insuring a standard car. The higher premiums are due to several factors, including the higher cost of repairs, the performance capabilities of the car, and sometimes higher risk of theft. Although, recently it seems like you're only really at risk of having your car stolen if it's a Hyundai or a Kia. For potential buyers, the added cost of insurance can be a deal breaker, because remember, it's not just engine parts and brake parts and interior parts that are expensive. Body parts are pricey too, which means if your BMW is involved in a collision, it's gonna cost the insurance company more money to have it fixed. And you didn't think they weren't gonna pass that cost off to you, did you? You might find a used BMW for a great price, but once you factor in the higher insurance premiums, stacked with all the other reasons we've listed, the overall cost of ownership becomes less attractive. This further drives down demand and, you guessed it, the prices. So, the top 5 reasons why used BMWs are so cheap. High initial cost, rapid depreciation due to high maintenance and repair costs, reliability concerns, complex technology, and high insurance costs. But here's the thing, a used BMW can still be a great deal. So, here are a few tips if you're considering buying one. Number 1, get a pre-purchase inspection. Always have a trusted mechanic go through and thoroughly inspect the car before buying. This can and likely will save you from unexpected and costly repairs. If you get a PPI and find out that the car needs some work, you can use the cost of the required repairs and maintenance to help lower the purchase price. Number 2. Make sure the car has been well maintained with regular service records. This is a good general rule of thumb for any used car prospect, but can be particularly important for a luxury car. If a used BMW comes with a stack of service records, that's a good thing, and it's a good indicator of how the car has been treated up until this point. Number 3. Consider buying certified pre-owned. CPO cars come with a warranty that's often extended above and beyond the one it had when it left the factory, and they've undergone thorough inspection and reconditioning by the dealership. Plus, oftentimes CPO cars qualify for manufacturer financing, which can get you a better interest rate than your own bank or credit union. It's worth taking a look at. Number 4. Set aside some money for routine maintenance and potential repairs. Doing plenty of research up front to know what the common problems are and what the required maintenance is for the specific model you're looking at will be big here in determining how much extra cash you'll want to be able to set aside. Buying a used BMW can be a bit of a gamble, but for the right buyer, they're some of the most rewarding cars on the planet. I've been fixing BMWs for the better part of 20 years now, and in fact, when someone asks me what the best first project car is, I almost always point them straight to an E46 3 Series. They're simple to work on, rewarding to drive, and since they're basically classic cars now, which makes me feel old, you'll have plenty of projects here and there to hone your wrenching skills. So, when buying a used BMW, just make sure you're prepared for the potential costs and do your due diligence. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, well, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more car content just like this coming along very soon. What are your favorite BMWs of all time? Which ones do you think were the worst? Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, my name's Trav. Do me a favor and go check out one of these ideal videos right over here, and I'll see you all next week.